Welcome back to Python MC. In this section, we're going to visualize functions returning values. So we can see we've defined this function called adder, where it returns x plus y. We define a function called subtractor. It returns x minus y. We then call these functions adder and subtractor, and adder will try to add 3 and 5, and subtractor will subtract 2 from 6. Let's step through and you can see it creates this function called adder, which points to the function definition of adder. And then then it defines the function subtractor. So subtractor now points to the function definition of subtractor. And then we're going to call these functions, in this case adder, with the x is 3 and y is 5. And you'll notice when it tries to execute the code on line 2, return x plus y, it'll take those two arguments, x and y, so 3 and 5, and then it'll add them together, it'll return the value. But then we make the next step, you'll notice it doesn't print anything to the screen, and we haven't assigned that to a variable, so it just gets rid of the value. We'll do the same thing with subtractor. We now call it with 6 and 2, so it'll be 6 minus 2 will be what's returned. So it executes the code, it looks at the function definition, it executes the code on line 5. It returns the value 4, and again, we haven't assigned that to a variable, nor have we printed it to the screen, so it just gets rid of the value. So now let's assign the value of that function call to a variable. So we're going to step through and we're going to now call adder with 8 and 2 as the two arguments. So it's now going to add 8 plus 2. It's going to step through the code, and it's going to return 8 and 2. So we'll see the same thing happens. It says return the value of 10. But this time the difference is we're going to assign that to a variable, calculation underscore 1. So you can see now that's stored in memory as calculation underscore 1 is 10. And now it's going to print that to the screen so we can actually see the value. Okay. And let's do the same thing with subtractor. So we have now subtractor with 4 and 5. It then takes those two arguments and then it goes to the function definition. It says, okay, what do I do with this now? I return 4 minus 5. The return value is -1. I've assigned that to calculation underscore 2. So we know it's stored in memory because we pointed the value to that that variable to that value in memory. We print that out to the screen. So there it is. We've defined these two functions. We've returned the result to a variable, and we've printed that result to the screen. So this gives you an idea what's happening in memory. We'll see you again on Python MC. Python MC.